Hey everyone, my name is Amanda and I'm the Fun Size Reader, and today I want to talk to you about Danielle L. Jensen's series, The Dark Shores. Okay, so Danielle L. Jensen is one of my favorite fantasy authors. I read her first book in the Dark Shores series, Dark Shores, as a read along with her a couple years ago. It feels like it's been a really long time because it kind of has. A lot has happened between then and now. But it was so fun to read a book along with the author because every week she kind of went through and posted questions, and so we could make theories, predictions, answer the questions that she had posted as we were reading the book and kind of spark conversation with her about the book, which was so fun. What actually prompted me to do this video was because I read Dark Shores a really long time ago, but I just finished Dark Skies, which is technically the second book because it was published second. But what's really cool about this series is that it doesn't matter which one of these you read first. So I happened to read Dark Shores first, and I happened to read Dark Skies second. You can read Dark Skies first and then read Dark Skies second. They both kind of come together once they're both over into book 3, which is Gilded Serpent, which I haven't read yet. Let me tell you a little bit about each of these. Keep in mind, I read this one a really long time ago, so it's been a while. My details are a little fuzzy, but it was fun trying to remember what happened while I was reading Dark Skies because I was kind of piecing things together as I went along. Dark Shores is kind of a combination of Pirates of the Caribbean and 300. So it's got this like warrior, but also at sea, exploring, finding new lands kind of vibe to it. There's a lot of political back and forth in these books, so I actually always recommend them to people who like fantasy or who want to like fantasy, but don't tend to like fantasy romance. A lot of fantasy books have romance just as a big theme in the book, and some people just aren't into that. So while there is romantic elements to this book, it's not necessarily the main focus of either of these books. It is part of it, but not 100% what it's about. There's huge like political themes and inner fighting and game playing and moving chess pieces throughout both of them. So I always tend to recommend her books because of that. They can be a little bit like intense to follow. I will say that I have to really focus because I'm trying to, figure out what's going on behind the scenes. That's part of what makes it really cool. So Dark Shores is about Teriana and Marcus, and it switches between their two perspectives. Teriana is the daughter of the leader of this, I don't want to call them tribe, but like they are a community of people that basically lives on the seas. And her mom is the leader of them. And they are rumored to connect trading and business and things between two different worlds. So there's one world which is where Marcus lives and is part of, and then there's another world which only Teriana's people know how to get there. And they know how to get there because they are connected to a magical serpent who does help provide magic to them to get them across to this other world. Well, Marcus is the leader of the military segment. He is not the leader, but he's like the leader of his unit. And he is being commanded to take Teriana and her people captive and force them to take the unit to the other world because the political leaders of Selendor want to conquer everything. And they're using Marcus and his unit of soldiers to do that. It's kind of this really big, epic fantasy surrounding that. And it's all in its own book. It's really good. And then that brings us to book 2, which is completely different. Still has characters from Selindor and Mutamora, which is the name of the other new world. And they kind of cross over just like Teriana and Marcus do. But this book takes place mostly in Mutamora with a character named Lydia, who is Teriana's best friend, and a character named Killian, who is endowed with magic in this other magical land, because Selindor doesn't really have magic. He is endowed by the gods to be a fierce, fierce warrior and protect Mutamora. So the story with Killian and Lydia is completely separate from Teriana and Marcus. They're connected in that they're best friends. It all started in the same place in Selindor, but it completely splits and goes to 2 different worlds, which is why you can read either of them first. And then things kind of come back together in the end. So I really liked this one. It was significantly longer than Dark Shores was. And so it took me a little bit longer to read. And like I said, I read this one recently. I read Dark Shores a really long time ago. But I liked this one. I really liked Lydia and I liked Killian. There was a lot of political back and forth with new people compared to what was going on in the first book. And so learning who those new people were and kind of a new realm of magic was intriguing and kept you interested because you needed to know what was going on. So this one is based on a war that's essentially happening because Killian didn't really do his job right. And so now he's been banished. And the entire land is plagued by these monsters who fly at night and just kill everybody. And it's run by a villain, essentially, who is trying to take over all of Mutamora. And the leaders of Mutamora are trying to come together to see what they can do in their lands to try to fight back against the villain. The problem is, though, is with these beasts that are just killing everybody all night, there's plague, there's like this ruin that's coming over the land, so there's no soil, there's no plants, there's nothing. And so everybody is dying and impoverished, and so they're trying to essentially win this war to come back from that and stop the villain from taking over everything. Now, I'm really interested to see how these two are going to come together because they're 2 wildly different stories in wildly different places, and the vibe that they had, like, this is very, in the Bahamas, in Nassau and pirate time with 300 soldiers, and this is very fantasy, dark, like medieval type feeling. So it's going to be really cool to see how book 3, Gilded Serpent, comes together. Anyways, I feel like I've talked about this. I've beat this series kind of dead in this video, but I really liked it and I really want to read the 3rd one. So if you haven't tried Danielle's books yet, definitely try them. Her other series I absolutely love, and I might be doing a reread of that soon to get a video out to you guys because I read that a long time ago also. So I will keep you posted with those. But in the meantime, if you haven't tried her books and you love fantasy and you love the political side of it, definitely give these a chance. I hope you love Dark Shores and Dark Skies and hopefully get to Gilded Serpent like I'm going to be doing soon. If you want to chat more, you can find me on Instagram at The Fun Size Reader, on Facebook at The Fun Size Reader, and on Twitter at Fun Size Reader. See you next time.